Hi, it is the 26th of April 2012. This is the Ron Paul FLIX Daily News Show. I'm your host, Israel Anderson. Well, the delegate update today, I want you to go along to the video that Ben Swan has just done. You can find it on Ron Paul FLIX. He just did a terrific job of explaining what's going on in Iowa and Minnesota. And instead of covering the material that we've already got on our website, why don't you just get along there and check out that video? It's absolutely fantastic stuff. Now let's look at some upcoming events. There's an event that is actually taking place right now at the University of Texas at Austin, 7 p.m. Central, which is 5 minutes ago on the recording of this video. But tomorrow night there's another one at the University of Houston. So make sure you get everybody along here. These are absolutely important events. Last night they had a meeting at El Paso. So 3 events in Texas trying to rally the troops, doing a great job. Now we do have some volunteering opportunities, not here at Ron Paul FLIX. We are doing an internship here and you can find details of that on our Facebook page, but there's some other ones here as well. So Neil Schloss in the state of New Jersey. He is the state grassroots coordinator and he's looking for people to do canvassing and other volunteering. They have a big office there, Ron Paul HQ. There's his email address and there's his phone number. Please, if you're in New Jersey or a surrounding state and you've got nothing better to do, and this is a pretty good thing to do, then get along and give Neil some help there. He would really, really appreciate that. Also, if you're in Texas, Ron Paul is looking for people to come down to his Clute, Texas office. Now, Texas is a big state, so if you're not sure where that is, it's about there. So if you're in this area, get down to Clute, Texas and help him out there. The phone number is there, email address is there. Legislation update. Now, I've got some fantastic news. Now, most of us in the Ron Paul movement believe very strongly in the 10th Amendment and nullification. Hi, Tom Woods. Tom Woods has written a fantastic book on nullification. If you want to learn all about, what it's about and it has nothing to do with slavery, then get Tom Woods' book, Nullification. You'll find it an incredibly informative read. But look at what the Missouri House has just done. They just introduced and passed a bill. House Bill 1637 establishes the Missouri Sound Money Act of 2012, which changes the law regarding legal tender. And the idea is to make gold and silver legal tender, just like that old document the Constitution says. Amazing, huh? You can read the bill here. You can contact your senator. If you're in Missouri, make sure you contact your state senator. It's already passed the state house, but it also now has to pass the state senate. So get along to here, senate.mo.gov, and you'll be able to look up your senator and contact them, make sure they know exactly what you want to happen. CISPA, we thought there might have been a vote today. There wasn't. There probably will be a vote tomorrow. This is a absolutely disgusting bill. You can read the bill here. You can find your Congress critter here. Ron Paul has released a Texas Straight Talk where he talks about the atrocity of this bill. I just got some late breaking news though that there's been a part where Homeland Security was able to access your information at any time. It looks like that has just been removed from the bill. But, we want the whole bill struck down. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has got into the fray. They have got a website set up where you can simply put in your postcode and your zip code and you will be able to bring up your representative. Remember, we need to contact everybody about this bill. So you just put in your zip code, it'll bring it up here. Make sure you contact them. Or over here, you can get a pre-filled in letter where you can just copy that, put your name in the insert name area and email that off to them. You'll find that at tinyurl.com/EFF-CISPA. So I want to tell you now about this really incredible story. This is about the power of sharing FLIX. This is really exciting. So somebody on Imager posted this image, which is fantastic in and of itself. It's not our picture of the day. We've got an even better one for that. But it says, senators should wear uniforms like NASCAR drivers so we could identify their corporate sponsors. And then somebody in the comments cheekily posted an image of Ron Paul. And here it is and said, well, this would be Ron Paul's uniform. And that is true because Ron Paul gets most of his support from the branches of the military. So that's absolutely correct. But in the comments, people were posting all kinds of interesting things. And somebody here posted this. Canada, said, except Ron Paul, and put a link to Ron Paul FLIX. How did I find this? I didn't go to Imager and see the image. I saw in our server statistics that somebody, well, the person who had posted this had generated over 200 click-throughs to Ron Paul FLIX just from this. So sharing, I talked to you a few days ago about sharing our videos or just the URL like this around the place. It's really effective. So over 200 people who probably had never heard of Ron Paul FLIX before went to Ron Paul FLIX and are now learning about Ron Paul. So this is absolutely terrific. Now, normally you see this slide at the end of the show. Don't tune out. This is not the end of the show. There's lots more to come. I just wanted to get this out of the way. So having looked at the effectiveness of sharing our link, please subscribe to my channel, favorite this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. Doesn't matter what the comment is. Say Ron Paul 2012. Don't put it in uppercase because YouTube tends to flag it as spam and not show it. And share it. Just grab the link and put it wherever you can. Really would appreciate that. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, and you can financially support what I'm doing here. You'll find a chip in there for some of the SSDs we've just bought to help speed up some of the video editing, which has helped dramatically. So now we're going to look at Ron Paul and Mitt Romney and the RNC and the presidency and everything that's happening around this, because right now this is so important. Newt Gingrich has dropped out of the race, not officially, but he said he's going to drop out. So he's going to be endorsing Mitt Romney, no doubt about that. Mitt Romney's likely vice presidential nominee is Marco Rubio. And so let's talk a little bit about Marco Rubio, the danger of turncoat Marco Rubio. You see, Marco Rubio ran as a Tea Party Express candidate, talking and waxing lyrical about limited government. And yet he just gave a speech that was more hawkish than Dick Cheney could have given on his worst day. If Romney becomes the Republican nominee and then the President of the United States, you are looking at a vice presidential nominee who is Dick Cheney on steroids. If you want foreign intervention, if you want more wars, if you want wars in countries you've never heard of before because he thinks they're a problem, then vote for Romney as the nominee, because Dick Cheney on steroids is going to be right there in the White House. Trust me, you do not want this man in the White House. He has turned out to be a charlatan. It's amazing. These people run on a particular message and then they've been completely lying to us the whole time, and they do the exact opposite of what they said they would do, just like the 44th President of the United States. So Jack Hunter has just done one of his Deals with Jack Hunter videos. Jack Hunter is more commonly known as the Southern Avenger, and I recommend you get along and watch this video. Just Google Jack Hunter and Marco Rubio, and you will find this 6-minute video that Jack has done. Absolutely fabulous. It's not the kind of thing we post on Ron Paul FLIX, but it's very important. So go along and just Google it and you will find it. And subscribe to Jack's channel. It's a great channel. He's always got incredibly awesome videos, and he was doing this a long time before I ever started. So Jack is kind of the pioneer of these kinds of videos. So thank you, Jack. Now, Mitt Romney is so strongly considered to be the nominee, the presumptive nominee of the GOP, that RNC chair Reince Priebus, and I always go to call him Prince Rebus. I don't know why. It just seems to roll off the tongue better. So Reince Priebus, here on Fox, talking about Romney and what's going on. This is a disturbing video, but you're going to have to watch it. And there's some exciting stuff after this. So don't tune out even though you're going to hate it, okay? Take a listen.
RNC and Governor Mitt Romney, is it official?
It's official. I mean, we're excited about it. We've declared Mitt Romney the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party. We declared that this morning. And it's been a smooth transition. I mean, so far we've had great people come in and be part of the team at the RNC. We've got liaisons coming in at the RNC that we've spelled that out in the media. Without getting in too much in the weeds, but it's been going well.
And the prediction is that Speaker Gingrich next week will, quote, suspend his campaign. All right, I'm curious, though, what about Congressman Ron Paul?
Well, I mean, we've been working really closely with Congressman Paul and his team, and I don't know if you know, but his campaign manager's from Wisconsin, too. But
so they can't be all bad, right?
Yeah, it can't be all bad. No, we've shown him a lot of respect, and we've been communicating.
Because he's from Wisconsin, or because he's a campaign manager, or is there any other reason?
No, because I think it's the right thing to do, and I think as we move forward, little by little in this operation, we've been communicating all of these things with Congressman Paul.
He's got a huge, very potent following. I mean, I get flooded with emails more from his campaign than any other campaign in the last year and a half. How do you get him inside the tent so he's cheering for your home team?
Well, first of all, I think a lot of credit has to go out to Governor Romney. I mean, he has built a very strong relationship with Congressman Paul. I think that's been pretty well documented.
Enough so that Ron Paul says, okay, Governor Romney, you're my guy?
I think that, I'm not going to speak for Congressman Paul, but I will tell you this. I think that he has been, in his movement, has been pleased with the fact that many of the issues that he's been talking about have become mainstream issues in the Republican Party. I think ultimately all of us can agree that this election is not going to be about the future of the Republican Party. And whether you're for Ron Paul or whether you're for Mitt Romney or wherever you're at, I think all of us together, no matter where you fit in, know it's not about the Republican Party. It's about the future of America, and we have to end the European nightmare that's in the White House.
All right, one last quick question. You're complaining about...
And we'll leave it there. He can't be all that bad, can he? So Prince Rebus went on to say this to the Washington Post: Governor Romney's strong performance and delegate count at this stage of the primary process has made him our party's presumptive nominee. In order to maximize our efforts, I have directed my staff at the RNC to open lines of communication with the Romney campaign. You mean you just did that? You just opened lines of communication? Because I found this online, A Tale of Two Leaders, which was a video produced by the RNC, contrasting, or rather showing the similarities, between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Just open lines of communication? You see, the Republican National Committee has been working with Romney for some time, obviously, because they just released the video today, and they didn't do it in less than 24 hours. That raises a serious problem, because Rule 11 of the Republican National Committee states that you can't do that. And you can freeze the frame and read this. But in essence, if a candidate, you can't fund a candidate except a nominee unless a candidate who is unopposed in the Republican primary. Well, Mitt Romney is not unopposed. So you're breaking your own rules in order to support a candidate who is not the nominee and is not unopposed. You know, that kind of brings me to the picture of the day. The Republican establishment and Mitt Romney supporters, you need to realize that we Ron Paul supporters, we will never vote and support Mitt Romney. It's not going to happen. We would rather the incumbent stay there so that we could have a chance at electing a Liberty president in 2016, because we know how hard it is to get rid of a sitting incumbent president. And the GOP is not going to run somebody against Mitt Romney if he is the president. We will not support Mitt Romney. It's not going to happen. Now, who is this guy? Some of you would know this guy if you're presidential historians. This is Warren G. Harding. And Warren G. Harding, in 1920, became the 29th president of the United States. Now, why am I telling you about Warren G. Harding? This is an exceptional story, and I'm ending the show on this note because I want to lift your spirits. I want you to see what is possible. Warren G. Harding was not the presumptive nominee. There was a presumptive nominee. Warren G. Harding, out of 4 potential candidates, went into the convention at the bottom. In fact, he had only 39 delegates. 39 delegates. So what happened? Well, they had a brokered convention, just like we are expecting to have this time around. And after many, many, many votes, still there was not a nominee chosen. In fact, after 9 rounds of voting, still there was not a nominee. But on the 10th round of voting, Warren G. Harding won on the 10th vote. Now, you might think that somebody that has only 39 delegates and was at the bottom of the pile could not possibly win in a general election because it's clear he doesn't have the support of the people. That's what makes this so ironic, because Warren G. Harding set political history by beating the Democrats by 60%. 60% to 34%, almost twice the vote of the Democratic Party. And this is explained a little bit in a book written by Glenn Jeesum and David Lurison called A Time of Paradox, America Since 1980, where they wrote this: Harding was a friendly unifier who understood intuitively the mood of the nation, shaken by a victorious war followed by a lost peace and a declining economy. America wanted what Harding termed normalcy. And they also said Harding was not a profound orator by present standards. How did this guy come to be the nominee? But does it sound a little familiar? Friendly unifier, intuitively understood the mood of the nation, lost peace, declining economy, wanted normalcy, wasn't a great orator. Holy cow, it sounds like somebody else. But we think that Ron Paul won't have even a chance at the convention in Tampa because he's not even going to be on the ballot because he needs a plurality of 5 states in order to be on the ballot in Tampa. Listen.
Meanwhile, Juan, Ron Paul is gathering delegates. He's about $2 million in the black and keeps on raising money. And he may get to the plurality of 5 states needed to put your name on the ballot for nomination in Tampa.
Well, I think that looks inevitable to me at this point.
Do you think this man, Ronald Ernest Paul, do you think in 2012 he could become the 45th president of the United States? He is going to the convention with hundreds of delegates, not 39. Not 39, hundreds. We are likely going to have a broke convention. I believe he's going to win the nomination, and I believe he's going to break Warren G. Harding's record because I believe he can win with more than 60% of the vote. Here is our grand unifier. We have seen it all over the place. When we see these huge rallies, most of the people there are Democrats. Just slightly more than half of them are Democrats. We will win the Democratic vote. We will have the Republican vote. We will have the independent vote. We will win. We will beat the Democrats by the widest margin since Warren G. Harding. I am absolutely sure of it. If this guy can do it, if he can go to the convention with 39 delegates, win on the 10th vote, and then beat the Democrats by such a huge margin, then Ron Paul can. Ron Paul can. And that's why we must fund the campaign. You just heard, Brett saying that we're in the black by $2 million. But the campaign is holding off spending money on ads in Texas like this one because they don't have a lot. They've only got $2 million. And unfortunately in this business, money talks. So please get along to the website, click on the donate button and donate whatever you can today. We are in this to win it. If Warren G. Harding can win it, then oh my gosh, we are so far ahead of Warren G. Harding at this point. It's not funny. Let's do this. And I leave you with this video that is sure to stir you. I will see you tomorrow.
Preliminary polls have not shown that Ron Paul is in first place, but you wouldn't know that from looking at his supporters. Compared to other candidates' contentions, Paul's supporters are often the most vocal, the most visible, and the most flamboyant. And many of them used to call themselves Democrats, or still do.
I used to really consider myself a liberal before Ron Paul. And Ron Paul's the only one. He's the only peace movement. He's the only diplomacy movement. And it makes logical sense, not only for your heart, but economically. I mean, we can't afford this. We're bankrupt and borrowing.
I've always voted Democratic. Well, not always. I voted for George Bush Sr., so I don't always vote, but that way, I tend to lean that way.
We came out to campaign this morning, and we left Ohio at 10:30 last night, so I'm ready for bed. I'm a Democrat, by the way, a registered Democrat. But I would not vote for another Republican. He's the only one. So no need to change party. But yeah, everyone here feels the same way. And you can feel the electricity in the crowd.
Democrats are not the only voters answering Paul's call for support. Many independent voters, a group that all candidates are vying for, are dedicated to the Ron Paul campaign.
Oh, I've been an independent since I could vote. I will not commit to either party because, I'm sorry, they both suck diddly yuck. You know what I mean? They say one thing and they do another when they get in office. I don't believe anyone. I believe Dr. Paul. That's the one guy. If there was a Ron Paul party, I would register for the Ron Paul party. But unfortunately, there's not.
Momentum is picking up. When I think of crowds like this and all the support we get and the cheering, all I can think about is freedom is popular.
The truth. The truth is something that we have not been getting from our churches. Don't give it to us. The schools don't give it to us. The government doesn't give it to us. Our parents don't know the truth. When we find out the truth, it's like a light bulb went off in our head.
I think people started to realize that, he's telling the truth.
I think he's talked the truth about downsizing federal government. I think this is what we want. I think the American people are tired of paying for the Wall Street bailout and the big CEOs. I think we're tired of that. And I think that's what he's talked about.
Believe me, across the country, I try to keep up at every place I go. I find more organization and more people studying, young people, college kids studying and reading about the Federal Reserve. It's the first time in 100 years that this is happening. So there's reason to be optimistic. So what I do is I make the case for individual liberty, believing that liberty is something that comes to us in a very special way, and that we had a good experiment, that the Constitution would protect us. If we did that, I believe it would introduce once again the notion and the goals that we should have of achieving peace and prosperity and restore the greatness of America. Thank you very much for coming.
Many Paul supporters who say they stand behind this philosophy like to use the word truth when describing why they are so committed to his campaign.
Have any idea about the size of audiences that come to see you versus the other candidates?
Well, the internet tells me a lot that in the pictures our sizes are much bigger than theirs have ever been. I mean, California, I don't know how many were here tonight. Just look up.
Tonight there were 2,500 people in the room and 500 people in the lobbies listening and watching on TV screens. So we consistently have 4 or 5 times the size crowds.